You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
What's up, guys? Thanks for downloading today's show. I have a very special guest today, a guest that hasn't had much to do with the show for a while now. My guest today is the curse of the show. It's back, everybody. Jesus. Longtime listeners know exactly what I'm talking about. But if it's your first time listening, please download episode 150, the 2-year anniversary episode. I explain it all there. I should have known better. On the last episode, I announced that Benny Mac will be joining me on the next episode, and the episode before that, I was talking about the upgrades I've made to my equipment, so I was just asking for it. Anyway, the reason there was no show last Thursday was just due to scheduling conflicts, but I was on Cave Crew Radio to try to make up for it. If you follow me on Twitter, you could have caught that. As I was getting ready for today's episode, I ran into a big tech issue and had to cancel things. So I'm really sorry. This isn't much of an episode. It's basically just me explaining what's going on because I feel like I owe it to the people who subscribe to the podcast. Benny Mac will be back on the next episode to help me crown a Dumbass of the Year for July, so make sure you stay tuned and check that out. That episode will be out next Monday just to give me some time to work on things. Plus this weekend, my wife and I are celebrating our anniversary and I want to spend some time with her. So if you're a new listener, don't unsubscribe. I'll be back soon, and there's 150 other episodes you can listen to in the meantime. Longtime listeners, you know this means there's probably going to be 3 shows this week. Just kidding about that. But if I can try to have something out sooner than next Monday, I definitely will. We'll just see what happens. Until then, you can send emails to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com, or you can call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail. That's it for me this week. I'll talk to you Monday.
Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies. I'm your host, Jason Marshall. And today we have a special guest in here. His name is Father Time, and he's accompanied by his wife off mic. If you want to know more about Father Time before the show starts and you haven't listened before, go ahead and make sure you go to the last episode. That way we don't have to rehash too much of the stuff that we went over on the radio. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
It is nice to be back on the air.
It's good to have you. Now, I got some questions from Facebook. Somebody wanted to know who writes your jokes.
Okay, what I do is write my own jokes, but it's just, from daily life experiences and things I see, because there is comedy everywhere. I mean, you can find comedy in your house. And sometimes my wife will say something to me that rather than get mad, I just make a joke out of it.
What does your family think about your stand-up? Do you have children?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
And that would never happen unless, like my wife always says,
if there's a star in the east.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard her, but she says, if there's a star in the east, and if that happens, I'm going on TV, whether they want me or not.
See, I don't do stand-up anymore. I did it a few times. I haven't done it in a long time now. And I always wanted my little girl to watch, but I've never really done anything that I would feel comfortable showing her with my stand-up. So I was just kind of wondering how your family feels about it.
Well, everybody I talk to can't believe I'm doing it, okay? And everybody I know I tell them, let's go out there and try it. And he says, they can't, they don't have the nerve to get out there and do it. Okay, now me, I just got the idea about 1.5 years ago to decide to try doing it. So I called up different clubs and got myself booked on a open mic where absolutely nobody knew me. And I didn't tell anybody that I was going to do this. So I figured if I fall on my face, then it's over. The only one who will know is the wife, and that's it. Well, after about maybe less than a minute on stage, I'm getting tons of laughs. And I was hooked just like a fish who just ran into the most tastiest worm in the world in a river. I mean, I was just, totally hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And that first day is how I got my name, Father Time.
Yeah, we talked about that on the radio. That was a good story there. And like I said, if anybody wants to hear that story, just check out the last episode. It's up on the podcast feed.
Unless you want me to tell it real fast again.
Oh, that's okay. Like I said, and if they haven't heard it, they need to go back and listen to it, and you can download that show.
All right, no problem.
I heard a story where there was a headliner on stage. You went up, obviously, before him. That's why he's the headliner.
Right.
The headliner's always going last. He said something on stage about how you were funnier than him and he should punch you in the face or something along those lines.
That happened at 3 separate occasions at 3 different clubs.
3 different ones?
Yes, where I remember one guy, at a club here in Dayton says, why he was doing his routine, he says, I think I need to kick Father Times' ass because he's funnier than I am, and I'm getting paid, and he's not because he's just doing open mic.
Now, before you go any further, I have to ask, that was on stage, right? Or am I getting the story wrong?
He was on stage, and I was just in the audience.
And he said that while he was on stage?
Yes.
Okay. And that just seems a very strange thing for somebody to do on stage, so I've never heard that before.
I think he got maybe about 2-3 giggles, and nobody really thought it was funny. Yeah. And that also happened at 2 other places, where someone said, I need to beat the crap out of Father Time because he's just funnier than I am. And I'm like, what's your problem? See, and I think these people are basically, trying to get my goat and trying to get me to stand up and say, hey, you so-and-so, cuss them out and that kind of stuff. And when we go out there and say, if you think you can punch my lights out, here I am. I just sat there in the audience and kept my mouth shut. And when I saw him afterwards, I says, you did a nice job. I really enjoyed your show. Basically just to piss him off.
Yeah, I was going to ask how that went when you said that you saw him after the show afterwards. I was wondering how that would go down because I never really thought it was very strange that they would say that up on the stage because I've never heard anybody do that before, but I never really thought of the perspective of them trying to rile you up to where you get on stage to make it kind of part of their bid or something.
I think maybe
that makes sense.
Yeah, well, see, I thought yes because I think maybe they were trying to do that, okay, just to get me mad. So I would walk up to the stage and say, "Hey, you think you're that tough? Here I am," because I have worked with people a long time ago who are exactly that way. There's people that will try to bait you and get your goat because they think it's funny. And it is not funny, but what you got to do is just overlook it.
Yeah, I worked with quite a few people like that. They like to stir the pot and see what happens. And
yeah, it's called winding you up and watching you run.
Yeah,
I have people like that, doing that. So a long time ago, I went to a psychologist, just to find out what could I do about it. And this lady told me, it gave me tools on how, not to get mad about it. And she says, if you don't get wound up about it, eventually they're going to quit because you won't be fun anymore. I'm treating the people there who are trying to put me down or get me riled up the same way. Just totally ignore it because they're going to see that I'm not going to get upset and I'm not going to be fun to pick on.
That's a good way to go about it. And they do that not just at work. I mean, it happens on Facebook. It happens everywhere. It's almost unavoidable these days.
And they do it because they think they're funny and just want to do is wind you up and watch you run. But if you learn to control yourself and don't let it get to you, you're not going to be fun anymore, and they're going to go and pick on somebody else. Yeah. And that could happen in school. That could happen at work. And every walk of life. And if you do comedy, what you got to do basically is actually just don't care.
You got that right.
Okay, say what you want to say, and that's it. Now, like twice, some people sent me some porn, which I immediately got rid of. And at first, I didn't know it was there until another comic sent me an email says you're not going to get any paying gigs if you have porn on your Facebook page. I'm like, what?
So they posted that directly on your
3 times, and I got rid of it. And I wrote a note that if you do it again, and I know who you are, I will call the police and I will prosecute because people have no right doing that to anybody.
Yeah, because anybody can see that. It's not like it's 18 and up
on
public. Facebook. Right.
I mean, you don't need on your Facebook page, okay, now you can't see the person's face. So as far as they know, it could be me and a girlfriend, me and my wife, whoever, because that's all you see is sexual parts and people's behinds. So maybe, they might think the guy in the video is me. Well, I don't need that.
Right.
They would show a face. Well, everybody don't know what I look like, so I'm still screwed, so I found a way to get it off, and now I am constantly checking my my page just to see what's there.
I don't blame you. Speaking of that, we were talking earlier about some of your Facebook posts, your misspellings and things.
Yes. Okay. I went to college. I got 2 degrees. Okay, and see, my wife and I are going on 4 years of marriage because we met through eHarmony. Okay, so on
congratulations.
November 19th is going to be 4 years. And what's funny about that is she taught special ed of all things. Okay, and I married the enemy, which is a school teacher. Okay, so I thought of a joke about that. Okay, and that is, and instead of getting mad, just fuck the enemy. Now, my wife, if she don't mind, she could explain something that was told to her when she was still single about being a teacher.
Okay. You want to pass the mic to her, or she can sit up there, or however you guys want to do it?
Oh, all I wanted to say was during IEP time at the end of the year when I have to go over plans for the children with their parents, I had a substitute teacher who also taught at the Lima Correctional Prison as a substitute teacher. We both happened to step out in the hall at the same time. He came up, put his arm around my shoulder, and said, I want you to know you have a direct line to God because you have served your time in hell.
And now I made a joke about that is God's got a sense of humor. He says, no, I'm not done punishing you yet. You got to marry this clumsy idiot because I am very, very clumsy. In fact, she's got a nickname for me. It's like something.
Bumbleardy.
Bumbleardy, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do call him, among other things.
I hope you heard that.
He's also my own personal hemorrhoid.
And that she tells the doctors, that she has her hemorrhoid right here. Now, a funny story about me being clumsy, is a while back, shortly after I first started doing comedy, I got carried away and I fell off the stage. I'm not making this up. I did not get hurt. I just had a cut on my nose and ended up with 2 black eyes.
Oh.
And my wife teased me for a week that I looked like a negative raccoon. Now, there was 2 doctors in the audience, and I was taken in a back room to be checked out. Well, this doctor was checking me out, so first of all, my wife says the reason why you didn't get hurt is because you fell on your head. You can't hurt something that doesn't have anything in it. If you would have fell on your ass, you'd be in serious trouble because that's where your brains are. Every time you fart, you get dumber. Well, anyway, we were in the back room. I made a joke about that. I say now that a doctor was looking in my left ear and says to the manager, do you know you got a crack in the wall? And my wife says, see, I told you he don't have nothing in his fucking head.
Now, how did you fall? Were you coming off the stage?
No, I was actually on a stage doing my routine and dancing around, because of one joke I tell, it's just kind of a sexual joke, and I got too close to the edge, and me and the microphone stand just went tumbling forward. Now there's a MC there, at that club, and occasionally I see him doing comedy at Drippy Days on Tuesdays, and occasionally he still makes jokes about me falling off the stage. But lately, because he was there, so he tells people, who are sitting in front now, be careful because I'm not going to tell you what happened, but when he gets ready to come on, you people who are sitting up front, be extra careful. So now
hold on to your jokes.
I tell jokes about myself being clumsy.
That's a good way to spin it too, because you have something from real life to go on. And
in fact, that same night, I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning. This whole clumsy routine just popped in my head, and it says, if I wait till morning, I know I'm going to forget it. I got up, I went to my den, sat down on my desk, and I'm just writing for about a good hour and a half, the whole thing, because I knew it was funny, And then I came out with other ideas that everybody we know, including my relatives, sends my wife sympathy cards for our anniversary. Even a priest that married us made up a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. Too bad God had a clumsy fool for you. And I have said these kind of things on stage.
Yeah. One of our Facebook questions is, what is your favorite curse word, and how many times can you use it in a sentence?
Well, people say I'm a dirty old man because I was a shit, fuck. I say shit and fuck because people do. And to me, fuck is not a dirty word unless you don't wash up afterwards. If it was God who invented fucking. If it wasn't for fucking, none of us could be here. And there's people out there who say, well, I don't even say shit. Well, if you feel that way, you come to one of my shows, and after the show, meet me in a parking lot and let me slam your hand on my car door. I guarantee you say shit, fuck, goddammit, and you crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, I guarantee that would come out of somebody's mouth.
I was in my driveway one time, and I got my left thumb caught in the door. And it took me almost a half an hour to get my keys out of my pocket so I could unlock the car door. I mean, the door, was locked. And so I had to find a little remote just to unlock the door to get my hand out. I'm yelling, screaming, and people mowing the lawns. Nobody paid any attention to me. So I'm digging around in my pockets, and the keys were in my left back pocket, and it was my left thumb that goes in the door. So trying to reach around with your right hand to your left back pocket is not easy.
Yeah. Okay. Here's something. You make a lot of jokes about your age and, and Geritol and stuff. I went to Walgreens a few days ago to pick up a prescription. And on the shelf by where they have vitamins and minerals and things like that, they had a box called thickening powder for people who have trouble swallowing. I don't have a clue how thickening powder helps them. It looks like they'd have thinning powder or something like that. So I don't know anything about that. You don't either?
I have never heard of it.
So it's not just an age thing. It's just across the board that's weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I saw that and I thought, how the hell does thickening something help someone swallow? If it's thin, it looks like that would be even better. Have you guys heard of the Nielsen rating company?
Yes.
Okay. I just became a Nielsen home this week. So for people who don't know, Nielsen Company is the one that does the ratings for TV shows, kind of determines ad rates, stuff like that. And I was looking through the survey, and I noticed they were asking what kind of devices you had connected to your TV. And one of the things that they had on there was VCRs. I thought it was strange because they don't have Blu-rays listed at all. And most people, have kind of backed away from Blu-ray because everything's streaming and on demand and stuff. But it just kind of threw me because I haven't heard anybody mention a VCR in God knows how long.
Yeah, I'm always making jokes about that.
Is it connected to your TV?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got all that stuff.
The other thing that threw me, and I have to bring this up, towards the bottom of the survey, this is a direct quote. It says, questions 7 and 8 are about the person living here who owns or rents this home. Note, please answer both question 7 about Hispanic origin and question 8 about race. For this survey, Hispanic origins are not races. Now, that seemed like the strangest thing in the world. And to follow up on question 7, it was, is this person of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin? After that, question 8 is, what is this person's race? White, black, or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian, Native Hawaiian, or some other race? Like I said, it seemed like a very bizarre thing to just completely exclude all Hispanics from being a race. I wonder when they printed these off and how many they printed at the time, because that seems pretty antiquated.
One thing, that really bothers me is when you make a phone call, they ask you, do you want it in English or Spanish? What if you're German or Polish or Italian or something? and you can't speak English, do you have to know English or Spanish, or you just can't talk to anybody on the phone anymore?
Could be.
Now, go back, to things, for old age, okay? The other day, I saw something on a shelf that is called Mr. Big Tree. You're supposed to put it on your dick to make your dick bigger. Wouldn't that make your hands bigger, too?
It should. Yeah. Or at least one of them.
And I always say, thank God for Viagra. It keeps me from pissing on my shoes. And my wife, came up with one, because of her age, her bra size went from a 36B to a 36 long. The other day, we went to the dentist, and he says, if you guys keep up the way you're going, not only will you be able to sleep together, but you will eventually be able to put your teeth in the same glass. Old age is a bitch.
Well, it's one of the Facebook questions, and I promised everybody I would read the questions no matter what they were, and I think this was more to screw with me than to actually get an answer. What is your favorite sexual position? Feel free to say pass.
Well, actually, it's the only one I could do, and that is my wife laying on the bed and I'm standing up. Because at my age, I can't do too many push-ups, but I can still chin.
I want to thank the asshole that gave me that question. All right, we're going to go to break. Before we go, you mentioned something on the radio about your lack of smell.
Oh, yes.
You said something about how somebody could be standing over you. You could be lying down, somebody could stand over you naked and fart, and you'd never smell it. You just know because of the wind. So when we go to break, we're going to test that theory. And I just want to think.
You're going to actually test that theory?
Oh, why not? It's we'll have that video up here soon.
Okay.
And before we go to break,
I've tried anything once.
I want to thank our sponsor for the show this month, the Bonus Extra with Jason Hour. It's a good mix of comedy and song. Go check that out. Bonus and extra are one word, so look for that on iTunes, and we'll be back.
Welcome to First Impression. I'm Mark Ofuj, and this is the Echo Man. Hi, how you doing? I'm the Echo Man. There's no trick. No machine, just here, coming from here. I'm like a God from heaven. So that way, I'm telling you believe in yourself. Everything's going to be fine. Because I'm a God. Have fun watching this video. Nah, it doesn't matter.
We interrupt this podcast for a severe weather warning from last week.
This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major storm is headed towards Austin, Texas on Friday, October 30th, 2015. It's going to bring up to 30 plus millimeters of rain, which is around 2 to 4 inches of rain. And heavy rain could cause sewers to back up in the streets and may cause some flooding. There will be a lot of puddles in the streets and will not be a good day to do your outdoor activities. People in Austin, Texas, be prepared. When you go for a walk, don't walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles when you go for a walk. Make sure to wear your rain gear, rub boots, and raincoat to keep you dry. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. When you drive the car, don't drive through the puddles. Avoid the puddles when you drive the car. When you go for a walk, don't walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles. When the thunderstorms hit near your area, unplug your TVs, computers, stereos, and gaming consoles so you don't get a power surge. Best luck to you. People in Austin, Texas, be prepared for a major storm on Friday, October 30th, 2015. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a major storm. Stay dry, be safe.
All right, we're back. One of the first stories I want to get into is a news story out of my home state of Ohio, and it's in Toledo. Self-proclaimed prophetess called Opal Covey, I think I'm pronouncing that right, who is running for mayor and has declared if she is not elected, God will visit the city in the greatest destruction they've ever seen. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure God has other things on his plate besides seeing if Opal becomes mayor. I don't think he's going to destroy a city for her.
No.
But that was a very bizarre, and she said that on TV in Toledo. There's a video out there if somebody wants to look for it. It's on YouTube, I'm sure, so go check that out because it's very bizarre. She starts speaking in tongues and really gets into it. So in her mind, if she's not, I guess she got screwed over in an election back in 2013. At least she thinks she did. I don't know if it's true or not. To her, that's why God's going to destroy the city if she's not elected mayor this time.
She must think, we are back in the old Bible days where God says, if you turn around and see what's going on, you're going to turn into a pillar of salt. It ain't happening.
Well, how full of yourself do you have to be to think that God's going to destroy a city because you didn't get a job?
Really?
Because that's all it comes down to. Being a mayor is just a job.
Right.
That's bizarre. That's like me thinking that God's gonna crush Ohio if I don't become the lead cashier at Walmart. It's a very bizarre way of thinking. Yeah, she's bound and determined that that's going to happen. Maybe we'll have to go up there the day after the election because this lady ain't going to make it. She's batshit crazy. And see how she takes the news on election night and just hang out with her the next day and get her reaction to God leaving things the way they are.
Well, I hope there ain't too many Democrats out there, that will get me, get me, we'll be kind of upset about this joke. But one time, I was getting ready to make love to my wife, and Hillary Clinton came on the TV, and I went to bed with a soft on. I have heard, though, if she gets elected, she's going to see to it that Lorraine Babbitt gets hired as Bill Clinton's personal secretary.
He needs that for an assistant. Speaking of assistant, there's an assistant prosecutor in West Virginia who was suspended for allegedly pulling a gun in his office to shoot some fake spiders. The secretaries in the office thought it'd be fun to pull a holiday prank for Halloween on him and decorated his office and had these fake spiders everywhere. And he thought they were real spiders, hated them so bad he pulled out a pistol and was getting ready to shoot a couple of rounds into some spiders. Now, I don't know how good of an aim you think you are, but it's pretty damn hard to hit a spider with a pistol.
I would have got the biggest book I could find on the shelf and just squash them.
Yeah.
And after one or two, I'd realize they're rubber and say, okay, joke's on me.
Every law office I've ever been in, they had a shitload of books all over the place.
That's what I mean.
So why would, that's a good point.
I had ants in the house one time when I was taking some classes at the Lima Tech, and I just killed a bunch of ants with a book.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna take a gun and start shooting ants.
Yeah, that was a very bizarre way of dealing with things. In Texas, a mother said she wants her high school son transferred to another school after a female teacher drew a giant penis on his class assignment.
Okay. Why?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
What do you mean, why did she want him transferred, or why did the teacher do that?
Why did it? Well, actually, both. Why did the teacher do it? I would just say, take him home, give him a good spanking, and tell him don't do it again.
Well, her reason.
The one who did it, right?
Yeah, the teacher's the one that put it on his paper.
Yeah.
Oh, the teacher drew a big penis.
Yeah.
On his paper. Oh,
apparently,
I'm sorry. I thought the kid did.
Apparently, he wasn't paying attention in class, so she drew it on his assignment as a way to embarrass him instead of punishing him.
So she's basically calling him a dickhead.
Seems like it. And my understanding is she went all out, just penis, testicles, everything right on the right on the assignment there.
They need to fire her. I'm sorry, but that's just totally off the wall stupid.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. That's the first time I've ever heard of anything even close to that, really. I never had a teacher draw anything like that on my paper, so it stood out to me when I was reading through the news. But going along the same phallic lines, a resident with a spear chased a sword-wielding burglar through a few yards after he broke into his house. The lady that owns the house has a son living with her, and he does medieval reenactments. And a burglar broke into the house, and he had a sword, and the lady just thought it was one of her son's friends. And then she saw the guy was stealing stuff, went up and got her son, who brandished a spear and chased the guy out of the house and through a couple of yards, and that was the end of that. The guy ended up being arrested. But you don't hear of too many people robbing homes with swords, and you don't hear of too many people defending their homes with a spear.
I mean, why would you want to take a knife to a gunfight? You're going to lose.
Yeah.
I seen a story one time, on cops, where this one stupid idiot had a butcher knife. He just left a car dealership, so you got 3 cops following him down the street. While later, you got over a dozen, and he's over there with a knife, and actually all these cops have guns, and they're trying to get behind him and get him in handcuffs. Well, he managed to stab a cop, and so a cop shot him. But, why bring a knife to a gunfight, especially against cops? You're not going to win.
Well, and today we learned you shouldn't bring a sword to a spear fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this next story, I'm not sure if it's funny or if it's sad, but it is unusual. A deer was injured by a car and dragged itself into a New York State emergency room. Apparently, it cut the line. It wasn't too concerned about everybody else in there. When the people in the hospital found it, they put it on a gurney and wheeled it out to the parking lot and called animal control. That was one pretty damn fortunate deer to...
Yeah.
He didn't know he was going to the ER, but God, that was a damn good direction to move in when he... Yeah, maybe
he could read. I see something, on Facebook last week. It was really funny. This here hunter was sitting in a blind, like a small shack, and he's holding his shotgun, and he's asleep, and this deer is looking at him through the window.
Yeah. Next story we got is a Canadian burger joint. They're putting Reese cups on their hamburgers and loading them up. I'm not sure about that. I think it was in California, but it might have been Canada where I read that they were putting peanut butter on the buns of their burgers. Not everywhere, but there was a place that was doing that. There was another place that was making the burger buns out of glazed donuts and cutting them in half and things like that. I haven't heard of people putting Reese cups on burgers before. That seemed very unusual to me.
I could tell you a true story that I learned in a class of business law.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody went out and bought a whole mess of hamburgers from Burger King and took them home and weighed them because they were advertising they weighed a quarter pound. And he found out that none of them weighed a quarter pound. So he walked out with a bunch of money, and now Burger King has to advertise they weigh a quarter pound before they're cooked.
Yeah, I've noticed. I actually had a conversation with somebody about that. I think it was the last show with Don Smith. We were talking about Subways being sued for their footlongs not being actually 12 inches. And we brought up that they have to have a little asterisk when it says quarter pounder at all burger places. Now I think McDonald's does it too, that it's the weight before they cook them.
Well, that lady who won that case against McDonald's because she got burnt with hot coffee should have never won that case, because about 2 years before that even happened, I'm going down I-75 on my way back to Detroit, and you haven't lived until you're doing about 90 in the left-hand lane. You got an 18-wheeler on your back bumper. You got another 18-wheeler right next to you. You pick up this hot cup of coffee, and it collapses right on your lap. You got nowhere to go. You can't slow down. You're just going, ah! That happened to me once. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to put it in one of those cups that are made, to drink coffee on the road. I put a straw in there, and I burnt my tongue. Now I put ice in there, but I was not going to go to a lawyer and say I got burnt by hot coffee from McDonald's because I'd get run out of town.
Right.
I mean, coffee is supposed to be hot. So now they have to write on the cup, hot coffee. What about the people who can't read? Are they going to start drawing a picture of a cup with steam coming out of it?
They do. They do that already.
My wife just said they're already doing that. I mean, people must be retarded that companies have to go to that extreme and then raise the prices for having to do that kind of nonsense stuff because you're too dumb to realize coffee is supposed to be hot.
Well, going back to burgers real quick, I had a burger at Steak and Shake. It was a double cheeseburger, and they had bacon on it and a fried egg. And that was the best damn burger I ever had. Have you had one of those?
No.
Oh, man, you got to try it. I wasn't sure how I would like it. Thought I'd give it a shot. Ever since then, I've been waiting to make a hamburger at my house, and I'm going to fry an egg and throw it on there.
So it sounds good to me.
It really surprised me, but something about the egg, it really made it a lot better. So anybody listening out there, give it a shot. It's really good. All right, the last story we got. This seemed kind of strange, but I guess I sort of get it. Titanic's last surviving cracker sells for $23,000 in an auction. Apparently this guy has saved the cracker in an envelope. I guess it was...
Why didn't it get wet?
Somebody who escaped the Titanic had it in a lifeboat.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of money for a cracker.
It was a family heirloom.
Yeah, very bizarre. That, like I said, that's a lot of money for a cracker. I don't know.
I wish I had that much money to spend on a cracker. I'd be somewhere under a palm tree.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't understand it myself, but, if that's what people want to do. Oh, one last Facebook question here. If you could pass on some golden information to other people about life, what would it be?
Well, okay. A friend of mine told me a long time ago, before I retired from my job I had, he says, don't retire because you're going to spend all your time in a doctor's office. It's going to become your new social life. Believe me, it's true. Don't retire because you'll see the same people every time you go to a doctor's office.
So the lesson is just
keep on working.
Gotcha.
And I'm glad I'm getting into comedy. I figure it was either that or become a greeter at Walmart. So thank you very much for letting me be getting into comedy so I don't have to be a greeter at Walmart.
All right. Do you want to play a game real fast?
Sure.
All right. Pick a number between 1 and 2.
1 and 2? 1.5.
Okay. It's the same game no matter what you pick. I made a game especially for you. Normally we play a game called Jinx, but I made a new one this week. It's called Stars, Celebrity or Galactic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a name of either a star or a celebrity that only goes by one name. And I'll have 30 seconds here. When I say a name, you just tell me if that's a star, a galactic star, or an actual celebrity. You ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. Rihanna.
Celebrity. Celebrity.
Wheezing.
I'm letting my wife take this over.
Reason?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talitha.
Is that Snuffy Smith's wife, Wheezy?
No.
Oh.
No, that's funny.
What?
Talitha? Yeah.
I see a star.
Beck? Oh, we ran out of time. That was the 30 seconds.
Oh,
sorry.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
I had a bunch of them, too.
As you can tell, the wife really loves this stuff.
Any upcoming shows or anything you want to play?
Yes. In fact, I got one Monday.
It's called Barron's Mexican Restaurant and Cantina. It's a benefit for a child cancer survivor by the name of Chase Miller, 9 years old. It's being held at Barron's Restaurant and Cantina, which is a Mexican restaurant. It's at 13625 Airport Highway in Swanton, Ohio. And it goes from, 10 in the morning till 10 at night?
And the comedy will start at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And there's only two of us doing the comedy.
Yeah. This little guy has been diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, which is a very rare form of cancer. He's about to have his fifth and final chemotherapy.
Oh, that's good.
So we're raising money to help the family.
It sounds like a really good cause there. Did you got another show, or was that one?
Okay. Well, I got a show lined up for November 13th in Lima at the Wingate Senior Living Community from 2 to 3 p.m. So apparently I'm going to start doing a lot of senior citizen centers if this goes over. And, yeah, my wife, just said because I'm a senior citizen, which is true. We are both over 65.
Not yet.
I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I wear a top hat on stage that I say was given to me by Abraham Lincoln. And I bring up a bottle of Geritol to have a nice little toast to the ladies.
We won't say how old you are, but you were in your 40s when you saved that cracker from the Titanic.
It's very possible.
And before we go, I just want to apologize to everybody for basically being dumb. If you've been listening to this since we started, the entire podcast, not this episode, I want to make sure that the people in the room don't think I'm bashing the show. I didn't know I was doing something wrong with the audio quality. So if you've been listening since this started, you're a saint, and thank you for sticking with us. It's going to be so much better now. I got a little bit of help a couple of days ago, and I'm sure you've probably already heard a difference in this show. So I just want to thank everybody for sticking with us. And I also want to thank my friend Brittany. She stopped by a couple of days ago and did a show with me that I'll never release. For some reason, when me and Brittany get together, we try to do a show, and half the stuff we talk about I could never put out, and that one got really disorganized on my part. I do want to thank her for taking the time to show up. Maybe one day we'll put that out, but a lot of the stuff we talked about on there I talked about with you, so I'm not sure anybody would want to hear me talk about the same thing with somebody else, but never know.
If you don't mind, I would like to tell a real quick story that happened on the way down here. I got stopped by the cops, and he starts asking me a bunch of questions. I said, "Officer, you ain't getting shit out of me. I've been constipated for a week, and a damn thing you can do about it."
What did he stop you for?
It's a joke.
I know. I was hoping maybe you had a follow-up just in case. Well, after I said it, I thought, man, I probably put him too much on the spot. Because I
came out of a club, last week, and I drove about 3 blocks, and I found a couple in my back seat. So I called the cops. They went to jail, and I got a $25 fine for disturbing the peace. Think about that for a minute. And if you're as warped as I am, you'll get it.
Well, there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, all the other places. And if you're on iTunes or Stitcher, please leave us a review. And I hope you have a good week, and we'll talk to you Thursday.
Coffee is supposed to be hot.
Before I let loose with this ruthless aggression, I'll let you be the second fat woman here in my confession. I admit it, I did what I had to do to win. I'm an athlete, you're a specimen of sin. With your drinking and smoking and choking down food. I know French dudes with better manners than you. So swing, batter, batter, show me what a fatter rapper could do. I beat cancer, I can sure as hell crack you.
You live strong, beat cancer, congratulations. Now I'll drop your ass faster than your own foundation. Third base with an Olsen twin, that's the sensation. She's just a little girl, would you give her a bracelet? Whole nation knows you ride too tight in the crotch. You're as bored as your Tour de France to watch. So come on, little buddy, don't look so pissed. With all that blood and attitude, you're like a menstrual cyclist.
You set records before black men could compete. Are you kidding me? That's like having a pasta contest without Italy. You're an orphan who found his way to fortune and fame. Just think what you could have done if you would have actually trained. I'm the pinnacle of physical condition. While you dip your stick in prostitutes and call it bobble tipping. Are you tripping? You'll be nothing but a skeleton. Messing with the fellow in yellow who will be pedaling like hell up in the Peloton.
It's the bottom of the ninth against the Tuxton in a bathing suit filled with more artificial ingredients than a baby root. That may be way too soon, but I'll call my shot. I'm not talking about those Italians or wedges you brought. The Sultan of SWAT will knock you right out of the park and round the bases to the sound of uproaring applause while you hang your head in shame and disgrace because you got lost and forgot what real sportsmanship was. You look tired, kid. You got Sheryl Crow's feet eyes. Head on to France and maybe bring me back some fries. But just step to whooping the mic, I'll fan your fancy bike, you know. You're out for 3 strikes, just 1 ball.
Who won? Who's next? Joe Gasol! Over the wall!
She said she was done. She said she was done with me. But the end was something I couldn't comprehend. Oh, see, sometimes you've got to take the bull by the horns and the monkey by its tail. The giraffe by its neck, and I don't know what you'd grab on a whale, but I do know this: she'll be back to me someday, 'cause I stole her insulin. My God, yeah, I stole her insulin. My Lord, well, she'll be sorry. She said it was over when now